JBN, we keep you informed. Man 55 accused of indecent assault of 9-year-old girl. A 55-year-old man accused of pulling a 9-year-old girl into his yard and assaulting her inside his bedroom is to be tried in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on July 11. The Kingston laborer appeared in court last Friday and pleaded not guilty to indecent assault before Parish Judge Von Smith. The accused, whose bail was extended for him to return to court for his trial, was warned by the judge not to have any contact with the complainant or her relatives. According to allegations, on May 8 about 1 p.m., the complainant was walking past the accused man's home when he held on to her and dragged her inside his bedroom, where he reportedly assaulted her before his young daughter interrupted, after which the complainant escaped. The child's mother reported the matter to the police, and after investigations, the laborer was arrested and charged. Indicom launches probe in Halfway Tree shooting. The two off-duty policemen involved in a shooting incident in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, on Friday, June 7, are to be interviewed by investigators at the Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom. The disclosure came yesterday as the oversight body confirmed that it has commenced a probe into the incident, which left one man dead and 4 civilians, 3 men and a woman with gunshot wounds. The deceased has been identified as 62-year-old Glenn Lennon, a resident of Kingston. In a statement yesterday, Indicom said the investigation will seek to determine how a number of citizens were shot and who is responsible for the injuries sustained by all. It says the probe is still in the early stages, but revealed that notices have already been dispatched to the 2 off-duty cops involved in the incident to present themselves for an interview next week. The police have described the incident as a running gun battle between 2 men which started at a plaza on Constant Spring Road and continued onto Courtney Walsh Drive. Indicom is asking persons with information on the incident to call 876-968-8875 or 876-968-1932 or the incident tip line at 888-991-5555. It says messages can be sent via WhatsApp at 876-553-5555. Insane man chopped to death in Montego Bay. A family is reeling in grief after one of their loved ones was brutally hacked to death on Saturday in Hendon, Glendevon, Montego Bay. A mother and son are in police custody after turning themselves into the police following the incident. The victim is 35-year-old Jermaine Street, who is said to have been suffering with mental health issues and at the time of death was on medication. Reports on the Montego Hills Police are that about 10:30 a.m., Street is reported to have broken the window of his neighbor's house. The neighbors and another man allegedly armed themselves with machetes and proceeded to Street's house, where they inflicted several machete wounds to his upper body and then fled the scene. Relatives later stumbled upon Street lying on the ground and called the police. He was taken to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. However, Jermaine's uncle, O'Neill, said his nephew has been a mental patient for years, undergoing treatment from the outpatient clinic of the Cornwall Regional Hospital. He says they are constantly calling the hospital to send ambulance for Jermaine to take him there, but was always told they do not have an ambulance. He also visited the Montego Hills Police, but was told that it was not their responsibility, but that of the hospital. Jermaine was on a 24-hour watch, because when the illness triggers, he attacks a particular person, not verbally, but does damage to the house or premises. We have recompensed the person twice of the damage, and we try to keep him away from that house and family, he said. According to the uncle, he received a call from his brother that the neighbor said Jermaine had broken 2 window panes, and he advised his brother that he would deal with it when he got home. He said he took his parents home and left them with Jermaine and went to the Montego Hills Police to summon them to come with him to the scene. It was upon my arrival home with the police that I got the shock of my life. There was a chop to the neck. You could see straight into his chest and other chop wounds and blood everywhere. So we took him to the hospital and he died there, he explained. We tried our best to keep him away from trouble and to protect him. We wanted him committed, but we got no help. Beaten pregnant woman seeks $1 million in compensation. A woman 7 months pregnant who was reportedly attacked on a roadway and beaten by the father of her child to the point where she urinated on herself is requesting $1 million in compensation. The unemployed 23-year-old woman was reportedly assaulted when she went to collect money from the accused, Jaden Baker, 30, a businessman of Morton Park in Kingston 10. According to the police, on May 6, about 3:30 p.m., the complainant, following a phone conversation with Baker, went to visit him to collect money. It was reported that while she was walking in Morton Park, a car drove up behind her and stopped. The driver of the car then wound down one of the windows, and she reportedly saw Baker, who beckoned to her to come inside. The complainant went and sat in the front seat of the car, and while there was allegedly attacked by Baker, who punched and hit her all over her body, causing excruciating pain. The complainant, who managed to escape, then went to the Halfway Tree police station where she reported the matter, and while there noticed that she had urinated on herself during the alleged ordeal. It is further reported that the expectant mother told police that Baker, while allegedly beating her, told her that she was trying to bring him down and that he had told her that she does not know who he is. The injured complainant was subsequently taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where she was admitted for 7 days. When the matter was mentioned in the Kingston and St. Andrew Court last Friday, the prosecutor told the court that the complainant was requesting $1 million to settle the case, but Baker pleaded not guilty to assault occasioning bodily harm. Attorney Sasha Gay Dennis, who was holding for Baker's lawyer C.J. Mitchell, then asked for the matter to go to mediation, and Parish Judge Von Smith complied. But the judge told the lawyer, "I hope for your client's sake that this will be resolved, because if this matter is tried and is convicted, he won't like it." Baker's bail was then extended for him to return to court on June 20. One dead, police asked 11 others to come in. The Kingston Western Police Division yesterday urged the remaining 11 men on its wanted persons list to turn themselves in. The warning came hours after the 12th man on the list was gunned down in Trenchtown on Thursday. Police reported that approximately 4 p.m., 20-year-old JBN Elliott, otherwise called Ricky, was standing on 3rd Street when gunmen approached him and opened fire, hitting him several times. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead, the police said. Elliott was wanted in connection to the murder of Kimani Keating, who was murdered on September 17, 2018 on 4th Street. He was also wanted in connection to another shooting in the community. It is alleged that Elliott was a member of the Sock Gang. "Come in with your lawyer or your pastor. We don't want because persons want to get rid of you that you become a statistic on our murder list," a Denham Town police spokesman advised. Police say ongoing gang violence in Trenchtown has made it a hotspot in the division. El Faisal to be extradited. The High Court has upheld a ruling by the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court, clearing the way for the extradition of controversial Muslim cleric Sheikh Abdul El Faisal to face terrorism-related charges in the United States. Parish Court Judge Broderick Smith last May signed an extradition warrant ordering that El Faisal be handed over to U.S. authorities in the state of New York, but this was challenged by attorney-at-law Bert Samuels, who made an application of writ of habeas corpus to have his client released. In a full court hearing in February, Samuels argued that his client's constitutional right to due process and to a fair hearing had been breached primarily because the original source material from which the evidence was derived had not been disclosed. He also claimed that the extradition order was in contravention of Jamaica's constitution. But a unanimous ruling handed down by Supreme Court Justices Carol Lawrence Beswick, Kiswick Leng, and Stephanie Jackson Aisley declared that a writ of habeas corpus would not be ordered for El Faisal's discharge from custody. Justice Lang, whose judgment was adopted by Justice Jackson Aisley without addition, said, "There is no proper challenge to the constitutionality of the extradition treaty, such as would enable this court to make a declaration in these proceedings that is unconstitutional and void." On the issue of whether El Faisal had been offered a fair hearing, Justice Lang reasoned that the fairness in trials as opposed to extradition hearings was not the same. "I have reached a conclusion that there are different procedural requirements that apply to extradition hearings as opposed to domestic trials. Fairness is a fluid concept, within obvious limits, of course, which must be assessed with the context of the nature, form, and function of the applicable proceedings," Justice Lang said in a 62-page judgment. He also said The court has found that there is no entitlement of the complainant to the source material, and therefore the refusal of a parish judge to order disclosure could not, without more, have amounted to unfairness. Dissenting in part, Justice Lawrence Beswick reasoned that the concept of fairness is not fluid. I am not able to see a basis on which to say that the degree of fairness required in extradition proceedings conducted in a Jamaican court is different from that required in a domestic criminal trial. The Jamaican court must be consistently fair in all legal proceedings, she said in her analysis. She also found that the non-disclosure of the source material by the requesting state deprived El Faisal of a fair hearing in a portion of the extradition proceedings. Born Trevor William Forrest in Westmoreland, El Faisal converted to Islam at age 16 and emigrated to Britain in the 1980s. He was expelled from Britain in 2007 after serving a jail term for inciting racial hatred and urging his followers to murder Jews, Hindus, Christians, and Americans. The cleric once led a London mosque attended by convicted terrorists, and Britain has said that his teachings heavily influenced one of the bombers in the 2005 transport network attacks in London that killed 52 people. El Faisal was deported to Jamaica from Kenya in January 2010 after being arrested on New Year's Day for preaching at a mosque in Nairobi, breaching stipulations of his work permit. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.